Okay, students, so good morning, and today we are going to proceed further and discuss another important topic, and that topic is refractive index. So the question arises, what is refractive index and how does it affect the phenomenon of refraction? All right, we have studied glass slab experiment. Okay, just to recap a little bit, just imagine this is your glass slab. Okay, and this is air, this is glass, and then again this is air. Okay, let us call this as medium 1. This is medium 1. This is medium 2. Medium 2, and again this is medium 1. Okay, that is air, air, glass, air. Medium 1, medium 2, medium 1 once again. Now this is your glass slab. Suppose a ray of light is incident like this. Okay, and this is your normal at the point of incidence. Here this is your normal. All right, now the ray of light enters glass, so it bends a little bit. Okay, it bends and then again emerges on the other side this way. All right, this is how it proceeds further. This is also normal out here. This bending of light, you see, as it passes from air to glass and then again from glass to air, this bending, this phenomenon of bending of light is called refraction. But the question is, why does light bend? Okay, the question is, why does light bend? Okay, why does it bend when it goes from one medium to another medium? It bends because the velocity of light changes. The velocity or the speed of light. Okay, the velocity, that is your speed of light changes. Okay, it changes. Now why does the speed of light change? Because the medium is different. Okay, and because the medium is different, it is optically denser or optically rarer. Get used to these words: optically rarer. For example, air. Okay, compared to air, optically denser. Optically denser medium. For example, water compared to air, or glass compared to air. Okay, so when a ray of light passes from an optically rarer medium such as air to an optically denser medium such as glass, it bends towards the normal. Why does it bend? Because the speed of light in glass is slightly slower than in air. The speed of light in air or vacuum, okay, it is almost the same, is 3 into 10 to power 8 meters per second. It's very fast, 3 lakh kilometers per second. That is extremely fast speed of light. The symbol for the speed of light is generally c. Okay, now the speed of light in air is so fast, but when it enters glass, it slows down a little. Why does it slow down? Because glass is optically denser compared to air. So when the ray of light, the speed slows down, it begins to bend towards the normal, and this phenomenon is called refraction. But obviously, you see, one question arises: does light bend to the same extent in different media? The answer is no. If it is air, it would bend slightly different. If it is glass, it would bend a little more. Okay, any substance, okay, any object that has more optical density. Okay, more optical density. Optical, the word optical means light. More optical density, that means the speed of light will slow down even more. Speed of light will slow down. As a result, bending will occur more. Okay, bending is more. So in an optically denser medium, the ray of light bends more. So for example, let us take air, water, okay, glass, all right, say kerosene. Okay, then let us take diamond. These are some of the substances. Their optical density is different. Okay, remember, optical density and mass density are two different things. Optical density, optical density is different from mass density. This is optical density, this is mass density. Mass density is different. Mass density is equal to mass upon volume. This is the formula for mass density. Density is equal to mass upon volume. Optical density is something different. What is optical density? Optical density is defined as the rate at which light slows down when it enters that medium. How much does light slow down? If it is more optically denser, light will slow down. Okay, if it is less optical density, like for example air, then it will slow down less. But for example, in case of diamond is extremely hard substance. It is the hardest natural substance known, and its optical density is highest, as a result of which light will bend maximum. Now, the amount by which light bends defines a phenomenon called refractive index. Okay, now what is refractive index? According to the laws of refraction of light, first law of reflection of light says that the incident ray, you see, this is your incident ray, okay, and this is your refracted ray, and this is your emergent ray, because it is emergent ray. So the incident ray and the refracted ray at the point of incidence to the at the point of incidence and normal to the point of incidence, those incident ray and refracted ray, they lie in the same plane. Okay, they lie in the same plane. That is the first law. So what is your first law? The incident ray and the refracted ray at the point of incidence lie in the same plane. That is the first law. But the second law is more important. The second law is also called Snell's law. Snell was the name of a physicist. Okay, so second law, what is second law saying? The second law says the angle of incidence. See, this is your angle of incidence, I, and this is your angle of refraction, R. Angle of incidence and angle of refraction. According to Snell's law, the second law of refraction of light, the ratio of the angle of incidence to the angle of sine of angle of incidence to the sine of angle of refraction is a constant. So therefore, according to Snell's law, sine I upon sine R is equal to constant. Okay, now let me just explain this further. Sine R, actually it is, the word is sine, S-I-N-E. Okay, sine is a trigonometric ratio. When we study trigonometry, okay, in maths, there is a chapter number 9 and 10 on trigonometry. You will understand the word sine better. So sine of angle of incidence to the sine of angle of refraction, that ratio is a constant, and this constant is called refractive index of the medium. This is called refractive index of the second medium with respect to the first medium. Okay, once again, what is the second law of refraction? The second law of refraction states that the ratio of the sine of angle of incidence to the sine of angle of refraction is a constant, and this constant is called the refractive index of the second medium with respect to the first medium. That is respect to air. With respect to air, it is called the refractive index of glass in this particular case, and this is also called Snell's law. So okay, sine I upon sine R is a constant, and this is called refractive index of the medium, second medium with respect to the first one. So obviously, you see, every single substance, every single object, depending upon how transparent it is, okay, how optically denser or rarer it is, it will have a refractive index. That is, the angle of sine I upon sine R will always be constant. So this refractive index, okay, of the second medium with respect to the first is given by the symbol n. This is actually a Greek symbol. It is not really n. It is called eta, and this is a Greek letter. Just like you have got alpha, beta, gamma, delta, theta, omega. These are all Greek letters. In this way also, this is a Greek letter, and we write 2 and 1 out here. That means this is, what does it say? Refractive index. N is the symbol for refractive index. Refractive index of the second medium. 2 we are writing first. Second medium with respect to the first medium. Okay. So in this case, if I want to write like this, I can write like this. So refractive index of glass with respect to air. Okay. The first medium is, the second medium is glass. The first medium is air. So refractive, this is, there is no need to write it this way. Write it n to 1. Refractive index of the second medium, in this case it is glass, with respect to air. Now here you see it is found that this depends upon velocity. Velocity of light in air velocity of light in glass. Okay, so this is equal to velocity of light, okay, in the first medium, that is in air, upon velocity of light in glass. Okay, so let us suppose this is velocity is v1 and velocity in glass is v2. So therefore this is v1 upon v2. Okay, so just to see once again, so what is now refractive index? Refractive index is written as n. N21 is equal to v1 upon v2. Okay, now let me explain this again. Refractive index of the second medium with respect to the first medium is given by the ratio v1 upon v2, velocity of light in the first medium upon velocity of light in the second medium. Remember, in this case, suppose medium number 1, suppose medium 1, okay, medium 1 is air, and medium number 2 is glass. Then we can say the refractive index of glass with respect to air is equal to velocity in glass upon velocity, rather velocity in air upon velocity in glass. Okay, be careful, 2 1 1 2, look at the ratio, 2 1 1 2. Okay, in the same way it can be any substance. For example, in case of water, now in each case, remember, in glass, air compared to air, optically denser medium is glass, so the velocity of light will be less in glass, more in glass compared to air. So in other words, v1 upon v2, the ratio of v1 upon v2 will be greater than 1. Okay, so for all intents and purposes, supposing the first medium, okay, suppose medium 1 is air or vacuum, okay, vacuum of space, then in that case, you see, it is called the absolute refractive index. Then it is called absolute refractive index. Okay, now absolute refractive index is actually not different from refractive index, in the sense that absolute refractive index is refractive index of a substance compared to air or vacuum. That means the first one is air or vacuum, medium number 1. Medium number 2 could be glass, it could be water, it could be diamond, anything. So in this case, we just call it as N2. And this is equal to velocity of light in air or vacuum upon velocity of light in the second medium, V2. So we just call it as C upon V. Therefore, refractive index of any material M, refractive index of any material M, that is absolute refractive index, is C upon V, where C is the velocity of light in vacuum or air and V is the velocity of light in this medium M. So this is absolute refractive index. Absolute refractive index. Okay, so we got absolute refractive index, Nm is C upon V. Refractive index of the second medium with respect to 1, the first medium is V1 upon V2. These are the two formulas that you need to understand. Now, obviously, refractive index of different substances is going to be different. For example, refractive index of air. Okay, refractive index of air is found to be 1.0003. But in actual practice, we take it as 1.0 only because it is very small, 1.003. Refractive index of water, W, water is found to be 1.33. Refractive index of ice is found to be 1.31. Refractive index of alcohol, okay, alcohol, I'm writing the whole word. Alcohol is found to be 1.34 or 1.36, approximately 1.34. Okay, and refractive index of crown glass, okay, crown glass, it is the type of glass which is used to make decorative pieces, and that crown glass is 1.52. Refractive index of diamond, refractive index of diamond is found to be 2.42. Now you see these values, you don't need to learn them by heart, but about 4 or 5 of them, okay, it would be better if you can learn 4 or 5. For example, refractive index of air is always considered as 1. Refractive index of water is 1.33. Refractive index of ice is slightly less, 1.31. What does it actually mean? It means that light travels faster in air, it travels faster in ice compared to water because its refractive index is less. In the same way, refractive index of alcohol is 1.34. That means the speed of light slows down in alcohol compared to water and air. And what about glass? Crown glass, okay, the kind of glass that we use for making decorative pieces, laboratory articles, and so on. That crown glass is 1.52. It means light, when it passes through crown glass, slows down more than when it passes through water or through air. And in the same way, the refractive index of diamond, the absolute refractive index of diamond is 2.42, which is very high. It means light slows down even further when it passes through diamond. Its refractive index is very high compared to air. Air is only 1, glass is 1.52, but diamond is 2.42. Now these values, you are not supposed to memorize them, but from the point of view of exam, it's better that you know some of the more common ones. You don't require to learn the whole table, but at least these 5, 6 you should know. So that is about absolute refractive index and refractive index. So what happens, to sum up? Refractive index is actually the ratio of the velocity of light in air and the velocity of light in any other medium. If you got two mediums, glass and water, water and air and glass, like that, two different media, then the ratio of the velocity of light is called the refractive index. If the first medium is air or vacuum, then it is called absolute refractive index. This is absolute refractive index. This is refractive index. There is the only difference. In this case, the first medium is space or vacuum or air, and therefore C upon V. Here it is V1 upon V2. Okay, absolute refractive index is this one. This is refractive index of the second medium with respect to the first one, V1 upon V2. And these are the different refractive index of different substances. All right, so this is about refractive index. It is there in the textbook. You must read it once. Now I also want to do the another thing, and that is about numericals. You see, in physics, numericals are extremely important. Numericals. You see, generally in physics, what happens is there are three sections. One is there is a theory part where you have to define or state the law, what is density, define volume, define mass, define atomic number, like that, some theory. Okay, define Newton's laws of motion, something like that. The second part is always derivation. I've often talked about this. In physics, you need to understand derivations. For example, Mirror's formula, 1 upon V plus 1 upon U is equal to 1 upon F, or magnification is equal to minus V upon U, or magnification is equal to H dash upon H. Lens formula, 1 upon V minus 1 upon U is equal to 1 upon F. These are all different formulas. Okay, in your course we don't have derivation of these formulas. Couple of years back, this derivation of mirror formula and lens formula was there in the syllabus. So derivation of a formula in physics is always extremely important. And then the third part is always numericals. Numericals are problems in physics, mathematical problems in physics. Theory, derivation, numericals. This is generally how physics is always studied. So derivation, although in electricity this time there is some kind of a few derivations are there in electricity. Otherwise there are no derivations. These two derivations were there earlier, now it's not there. But you need to understand numericals. How numericals can be solved and what formulas to use in solving a particular numerical. All right, now I'm going to show you a few numericals and how they are solved. Okay, the numericals are on page 186. Okay, this is on page 186 of your textbook. Okay, so when you watch this video, also keep your textbook open. This is on page 186 and question number 11. Okay, question number 11. I'm going to start with the numericals only. All right, see that numerical number. Okay, the numerical number 11 says that concave lens of focal length 15 centimeters forms an image of 10 centimeters from the lens. Okay, how far is the object placed from the lens? Draw the ray diagram. All right, in this case, you see, we have already done this diagram, so I'm not going to repeat this one. This does not involve calculation, it involves drawing the ray diagram. See the 12th one. Okay, number 12. An object is placed at a distance of 10 centimeters from a convex mirror. So we have got a convex mirror. Okay, so in that case, when it is a convex mirror, an object okay, so let's see. Yeah, this is number 12. An object is placed at a distance of 10 centimeters. Okay, so in this case, object distance u is minus 10 centimeters. Okay, then focal length will be plus 15 centimeters. I'll explain why. V you want to find out, and magnification you want to find out. All right, see how we solve it. An object is placed at a distance of 10 centimeters from a convex mirror of focal length 15 centimeters. Find the position and nature of the image form. All right, let's understand. First of all, object distance is always negative. Remember that. Okay, when you solve numericals, please don't write full sentences. Only write in short. U, that is object distance, it is always negative. Now it's a convex mirror. It's a convex mirror, right? And in a convex mirror, the focal length is always positive because the mirror is like this. Remember, this is your, in this case, this part is black and the object is placed here. So object distance is measured here and therefore it is negative. But the focal length is on this side. Therefore focal length is positive. Remember, this diagram is not to be drawn. This is just for your explanation. Why focal length is plus 15? Why object distance is negative? Now according to mirror formula, see, according to mirror formula, always write it like this. Now what is the mirror formula? 1 upon V plus 1 upon U is equal to 1 upon F. Alright. Now 1 upon V, we want to find, is equal to 1 upon F minus 1 upon U. Image distance we want to find. So 1 upon F, F is plus 15 minus 1 upon U, U is minus 10. Notice how I have written, see, minus and then minus 10 here. So it becomes 1 upon 15 plus 1 upon 10. Alright, LCM of 15 and 10 is 30. So 15 2s are 30, 10 3s are 30. 5 upon 30, that is 1 upon 6. So 1 upon V is equal to 1 upon 6. Therefore V is equal to plus 6. Now you got plus 6. That means the image must be formed here. Okay, image must be formed on this side, not on this side. Otherwise image distance would have been negative. So image is formed on the other side. Now let us find out magnification. Magnification for a mirror is minus V upon U. If you don't know the formulas, you can't solve these problems. Okay, so minus V, V is plus 6. Okay, and U is minus 10. There are two negative signs, it becomes plus. So 0.6. Okay, this is plus 0.6. That means magnification is plus. So the image is virtual. If it is plus, it is virtual. It is erect. A virtual image is always erect. And it is less than 1. Magnification is less than 1. And if it is less than 1, it is diminished. That means it is small. Okay. Where is it formed? It is formed on the other side of the mirror. It is formed behind the mirror. Behind the mirror. The image is formed behind the mirror. Once again, see, what is the question? There is a convex lens, convex mirror. Okay, this is your convex mirror. An object is placed at a distance of 10 centimeters in front of a convex mirror. Object is always placed on this side. So the object distance is always going to be negative because you are going to measure the distance from the pole this way. So object distance would always be negative. Then at the same time focal length will be positive because this is a convex mirror. Here the focal length is here on this side. So it will be positive. The distance is measured this way. Alright. And then image distance and magnification you want to find. So according to mirror formula, write the values and you get 1 upon V is 1 upon 6 or V is equal to plus 6. This plus sign indicates that the image is formed on this side, not on this side. Okay. Image is formed here somewhere. So it is formed behind the mirror, not in front of the mirror. Then at the same time magnification, you put the values, you get plus 0.6. Plus 0.6 indicates the image is virtual and erect. And because it is less than 1, 0.6, that means it is diminished. So this is how you solve numericals. Alright, let us see another one. This is number 13. Okay, that's page number 186. The magnification produced by a plane mirror is plus 1. What does it mean? Plane mirror, magnification is equal to plus 1. Now magnification is plus 1. The plus sign indicates the image is virtual and erect. Virtual and erect. How do you know this? It is virtual and erect because there is a plus sign. When magnification is negative, the image is real and inverted. If the magnification sign is plus, it means it is virtual and erect. Also, it is exactly 1. It is not less than 1. It is not more than 1. Therefore, the image is of the same size. Image is of the same size. Okay. But where is it formed? See, the plus sign also indicates it is virtually erect. That means the image must be formed behind the mirror. The image is formed behind the mirror. Image is formed behind the mirror. Behind the mirror. Okay. Also, see, at the same time, M is equal to, we know it is equal to what? Minus V upon U for a mirror. Okay. And this is equal to plus 1. It is given. That means V is equal to minus U. Okay. It means the object distance and image distance are the same, but one is formed behind the image is formed behind the mirror. That means it is formed at the same distance as the object distance. All right, let me explain this once again. All right, see, the question given is this, that magnification of a plane mirror is equal to plus 1. What can you say about the image? Well, it's very simple. You see, in this case, what you can really say is this, that the image is virtual and erect because there is a positive sign. Because there is a positive sign, the image is virtual and erect. The image is of the same size. Why? Because it is 1. Had it been less than 1, 0.9, the image would be smaller, diminished. Had it be 1.1 or 1.5, the image would be bigger. Okay, magnified. But in this case, the image is of the same size. Also, the image is formed behind the mirror. Why? Because V is equal to minus U. You can see the distance is indicative minus sign. Minus sign indicates that the image must be formed. If the object is in front, the image must be formed behind the mirror because there is a negative sign also. And both distances are equal. V is equal to U. Object distance is equal to image distance. So the object and image distance are the same. All right, let's see number 14 now. All right, number 14 says an object 5 centimeters in height. Okay, an object is 5 centimeters in length or 5 centimeters in height, is placed at a distance of 20 centimeters. U is equal to 20 centimeters. Okay, and remember, U is always negative. 20 centimeters in front of a convex mirror of radius of curvature R is given. Radius of curvature 30 centimeters. Okay, and remember, this is a convex lens, a convex mirror, a convex mirror. Now, if it is a convex mirror, remember convex mirror, as I just showed to you, this is your convex mirror. Okay, this is convex, that means this part is black in color, the object is placed here. Okay, so the focal length is on this side, the center of curvature is also on this side. That means the distance is measured in this side. So this is going to be positive, and therefore focal length is half the radius of curvature, so is 15 centimeters. Focal length is always half the radius of curvature. Now you want to find, remember, this diagram is not necessary, it is only for explanation. What you must write is this part. V is equal to question mark, magnification is equal to question mark, height of the image is also question mark. 3 things we have to find. All right, first of all, according to mirror formula. According to mirror formula. Now let's find out the according to mirror formula. 1 upon V plus 1 upon V plus 1 upon U is equal to 1 upon F, or 1 upon V is equal to 1 upon F minus 1 upon U. Put the values. F is plus 15 minus 1 upon U is minus 20. Okay, so 1 upon 15 minus plus 1 upon 20. All right, LCM is 60, or 15 and 20. What is the LCM? 15 4s are 60, 20 3s are 60. 7 upon 60. Okay, remember that. Okay, 22s are 40, 40 will not go by 15, so 23s are 60. So V, that is 1 upon V. So V is equal to 60 upon 7. 60 upon 7, that is 7 8s are 56, 47 5s are 35, 57 7s are 49. So 8.5 centimeters from the mirror. This is V is equal to 8.5 centimeters. Image distance, it is positive. Remember that. That means it is formed on the other side. Now you also want to find out magnification. Magnification is minus V upon U. Remember this. This is for a mirror. So minus V. V is 60 upon 7 I am going to take to make it easier. I am not going to take 8.57. Then U. U is equal to minus 20. Two minus signs will make a positive sign. So 60 upon 7 into 1 upon 20. 23s are 3 upon 7, that is plus. Okay, 7 3s are 7 4s are 28. 2 left 20. 27 3s are almost 0.43. Okay, so many centimeters up to 2 decimal places. So this you get 0.43 centimeters magnification. That means it is less than 1. It is positive. So therefore image is virtual. If it is virtual, it is erect, and it is less than 1, therefore it is diminished. And the image is formed on the other side because this sign is also plus. And we also want to find out the height. M is equal to h dash, height of the image upon height of the object. Okay, M magnification we have just found out is 3 upon 7. Magnification is 3 upon 7. Notice how I taken ratio and not in decimal points. Is equal to h dash, we want to find height of image, upon h, height of the object is given as 5. So h dash is 5 3s are 15 upon 7. So h dash is equal to 7 2s are 14, 1 0, 7 1s are 7, 37 4s are 28. So many centimeters. Okay, so you can see that these illustrations, or rather these examples, numericals, calculation problems are not so difficult. All you have to do is make sure that you follow you should learn the formula and follow these steps very carefully. These diagrams which I have drawn here, they are only for explanation purpose. You don't have to do it. You have to write this in short and then calculate. In physics, in numericals, you don't write long sentences. Okay. Now tomorrow I am going to solve a few more numericals, and then we will wind up this chapter. After that, I am going to start with maths chapter, and that will be about, we will do, or we can do one thing, we can do one biology chapter, and then we can do maths chapter. We'll make the choice later on. Okay, for the time being, just make sure you read the textbook and see this video carefully. Have a nice day.